Blue Collar Millionaires, it's good to be back on this Tuesday. Me and Kevin are the guests of the show today. We do not have a special guest. Had some personal things that came up with the guest that we were going to have. And so we decided that we would communicate the top 3 things that's helped us scale our businesses individually. So you should get a nice variety of this. You'll probably end up getting 6 things because we've actually not even discussed what 3 things we individually considered the best help to scale our business. So, Kevin,
yes,
dude, let's hear what your number 1 is that helps you scale your business.
All right. The number 1 thing for me is super simple. It was consistently contacting people who can get me jobs. In my case, it was bigger jobs, but when I was working, I was consistently doing that 90 minutes to 2 hours a day. There was maybe 1 day a week I wouldn't do it. I would be calling people, calling on complexes, calling on property management companies. I ran through, this is back before even like, I was doing it, of course, for many years after, but I used to take those apartment finder buildings, go through there, find out who it was, call the number, go to the next page. And Chris, like if you do that for 8 hours, you're going to get burnt out.
Absolutely.
So I would just do it for 90 minutes. It was like non-negotiable. It's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym and do something else. So I didn't go to get on the phone and then start talking to my employees about other stuff. I would tell them, I'm going to be gone for 2 hours. I'll see you in 2 hours. It's almost like lock yourself in a room. But by doing that, over and over, 4 days, 5 days a week, it's just like, it's massive returns. The returns will be massive in 90 days. In 30 days, you'll definitely see it. If you don't, you have to, but you also, when you do it that often, you figure out what's working, what's not working. You learn your little style and everything. I think that when people don't do it enough, they don't get good at it. I made a post yesterday, and one of the things, if you want to get good at something, you got to do it a lot of times. You're going to suck in the beginning.
Absolutely.
You're not going to want to call. You might feel nervous calling. But I never really felt nervous calling. Like, I feel like I have a service, you need it. I just want to let you know. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just trying to let you know I do that.
Well,
I know that.
I think that's an important point to stick out right there, is the fact that you didn't get nervous because you weren't sitting in a position of scarcity. And if you were, you didn't let your mindset be there. You already had some work coming in. You were trying to scale it up, and it is exactly, I think that we overcomplicate it when we're sitting in that and we're making phone calls, or we're doing on-site visits, knocking on the doors, because reality is you have something that they need. And if they don't need it, they're not your customer. So you've got to find your customer, and those are the ones that need your service. And it takes that pressure of, I got to sell this. I got to sell this one. No, you just got to run through the numbers to hit to find the ones that are yours, your actual customers.
It really is. It's going to be one of 3 things. Like, we'll talk about gutters, and they got stuff on it. And number 1, they got stuff all over the roof, and they just don't give a shit. That's I can't do anything about that. Like, if you don't care,
that's not your customer. That's going to
be you got a lawnmower, but your grass is a foot high, and you don't care. I don't. What am I going to do? Number 2 is you have someone else, or you already do it yourself, that service. There's a chance on that one for sure. Then you just pivot into, hey, if I can give you a bid, or if I can try to come up with a solution for them that might be better. And number 3 is nobody's doing it. They want it done, and you hit them at the right time. You're going to find a lot of those. Yes. And that's really what I want. Even if number 1 isn't really that, and they just don't like me, or I don't care. I put it as number 1. You don't care.
Yep.
So why do I? So yeah, that was a big thing for me doing it. And I spent a lot of time doing it, and now I have other people doing it. It works.
Oh, I love it, man. That's huge.
What about you?
I would say leveraging debt would be my number 1. I started in a really poor place financially. I had a $500 investment that I bought some equipment with, and I had to go commercial, and I started as a carpet cleaner. When I went commercial knocking on doors, I had to end up eventually partnering with someone else that had a truck mounted steam cleaner, which meant I was giving 50% of it away. We were using their equipment. He was putting in 50% of the manpower. I was putting in 50% of manpower, and I was bringing the leads. But the problem was, with me giving 50% of it away, it was very hard for me to put cash back to be able to invest in the rig that I needed. And since I went commercial, that was easier because I didn't have money for marketing. That was also something I was like, well, I can get repetitive. So I went after the restaurants. Well, with my system, it was very hard for me to get the restaurants as clean as they needed to be and have that high quality of standards. So that's why once I started, I was like, okay, I've got to have a truck mount. I can't afford a truck mount. So what happened was I was actually partnered up with my brother when we first started out. So he and me, and I had to bring on my girlfriend, which is currently my wife, to get a loan for a truck mount. So a $50,000 loan so that we could purchase a new truck mount that wasn't going to break down on us. And then the van itself was a whole nother portion. So I leveraged debt to get in. But what happened is that allowed me to get rid of the partner at 50%. Now that money was going to go straight towards my payment on that truck mount. And I also had way more confidence about going and picking up more and larger commercial accounts. So then I started hitting hotels, going on the 5th floor, being able to use my machine to get to the 5th floor because I had a commercial rated machine. So leveraging debt helped me. Another scenario was when I got into the restoration. I pulled out a line of credit for my business because we started doing reconstruction after we did the mitigation, the cleanup portion. And with that reconstruction, I had material cost. So I found myself waiting 90 to 120 days on insurance to pay me back, which was really making me stress about making payroll, getting my own personal bills paid, just because I had cash flow issues. So that line of credit I was able to pull from, and that again was leveraging debt. If you look at your large companies, anybody that scales quickly, there's going to be a level of leveraging debt. It's just too hard to stack cash in the back and scale with your own cash if you're going at a very fast rate.
I agree. So, I think you have to be able to do that. If you can't, you can't. But Chris, what a resourceful way to get going and using someone else's equipment. I love it.
Yeah, well, and here's what I find out about most entrepreneurs is it's a gift when you're stuck in the corner because it pushes you to be resourceful, and that gives you confidence when you've pulled out, and there is a sustaining factor in you that you're just not going to let it die because you've already got resourceful in one moment. Why would you not get resourceful in the next moment and the next moment when your back's against the wall? Those times of resistance are gifts to us.
They really are.
I'm just thankful that my girlfriend was willing to take a chance on me. She had a really good paying job, and I guess she realized it wasn't a short term since she's my wife now. But yeah, without that, I would have. I don't know who I would have found to co-sign, but it took 3 of us just to get it because our business had no credit, and we personally didn't have strong enough. Our credit wasn't bad, but it did take it took a W-2 employee with a good paying job for them to say, okay, we'll take a risk on you. So what about your number 2, Kevin?
My number 2 is going to be, I was going to use VAs, but now I'm going to stay with that mostly, but I'm going to say leveraging other people's time.
Oh yeah.
That's been a huge thing for me. You have to, you're talking about leveraging other people's money. You have to leverage other people's time, and you have to get to a point where you can do it. So when I think of all the guys who cut lawns for me or clean gutters for me or still do, I'm leveraging all those other people's time, but you can create win-wins where it's a win for them. They're trying to make $300 a day or whatever it is. They want constant work. You might be making $300 on them. Once you realize that, you got to figure out, how do I get 20? How do I get 50 of these guys?
Yeah, it's
50
huge.
times 300. And in my case, it works out to about 400. 50 times 400. I mean,
Yep.
or 40 is 20 grand. And then you figure out, keep going. So you have to leverage other people's time. But the same thing is with virtual assistants. And that was just a slight pivot. I was doing all that, this data collecting and setting up those lists to call that I was talking about, all these things. And I think, wow, what if I just had somebody put this, like, handed up to me on a platter, their phone number, their first name, some notes about them. They did some stuff, and then, like, all I do is get on the phone and call, or we email them, or whatever we do, and I follow up. Even when we email, I sometimes see 3 or 4 emails going back, and then there's a alert for me to call them. I just read it real quick in the CRM and make the calls. So I'm leveraging virtual assistants in the Philippines and different other people. I have somebody calling. We have, thousands of customers, and some of them we can't get a hold of in this spring because they switch management companies or who knows. So I have somebody today just calling on those people, trying to find out what's going on. Hey, we haven't heard from you, and all these things. So leveraging other people's time is key. I don't even know. I mean, there's some businesses where you can make a ton of money, I guess, if you came up with some technology.
Mm-hmm.
But most businesses, definitely in the blue collar, the bigger, you don't have to be, it's not bigger is better, but you're going to have multiple employees to leverage time. Chris, I think you said you have 14 guys. If you had 6 guys, there's no way you can personally make as much money. You cannot do it.
There's a value on everybody's head. That's especially if you're talking about field work. Every person that's out in the field, they have to be producing a certain amount of revenue per employee, per team member, per head, however you want to communicate it. And then at that point, then you can sit there and say, and this is how you just reverse engineer it. You sit there and say, okay, if I need to do this many jobs based off this average ticket, then I need this many team members to be able to achieve that. And it's really, I love it because it really is a win-win, Kevin. I mean, the fact that you can sit there and set your goals up and you can say, okay, I'm just going to do the math, the data behind all of this. This is how many people I need. This is how many jobs that I need. So that tells me how many people I need to service those jobs. And you provide an opportunity for them, but at the same time, you're creating opportunity for yourself in more income, and you really become a lever puller. And I think that's where everybody watching this should be pushing themselves, is to learn how to be a leader, learn how to manage and lead, because then you're pulling the levers, creating opportunities, and therefore with creating those opportunities, you create a great opportunity for yourself.
Yeah. When you look at everybody we know, Chris, who makes money, or anybody can do this, they're all leveraging other people. They're leveraging systems, they're leveraging technology, but they're leveraging other people too.
100%.
Look at a broker who has 10 realtors under him. He's making more than any of those realtors. And there's some realtor in there who's killing it, and he's making 300-400 grand. But that guy's making a piece of that too, but he's doing it on 10 other people. You look at like what Mark Evans is doing with ERC. That's the smartest way. There's nothing wrong with getting on the phone and smiling and dialing, calling these ERC guys. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's where some people have to go. But I always, when I was doing that, Chris, it was so weird. When I was so young, I was always thinking about, I'm doing this, but I'm going to have 2 guys helping me. Then I'm going to have 4. Like, that's how I would, when I was cutting loans, that's all I was thinking about.
Yep.
I was doing numbers in my head, and I was thinking about how to grow it. And I was thinking about next year at this time, what do I want to, like, that kept my mind busy all day, because cutting lawns is boring as hell.
Yep.
And I didn't even have music on or anything. You had the cheap 1992 headphones back then. You can't hear anything
with the CD player. So when you skip, you're having to hold it like this.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, we didn't have. People don't even know how big it is, how different it was. So I was always thinking about that leveraging, and I saw that really quickly. All the people that I would cut lawns for that had huge houses, they were leveraging people. I would have conversation with them. I remember I had one guy, and he's like, yeah, I have a bar. His house was massive. This guy was like late 30s. I was like 21, and I'm like, you got a bar and you own this house? And he's like, oh, I have a couple. And I'm like, how many's a couple? He's like, 11. And then I'm like, you got 11 rep bars. And
Wow.
then and he had them all in New York City and everything. I mean, the guy was killing it. And he was just like, he always had like this woman running behind him, like taking, making
Yep.
phone calls and everything. I was like, this guy's, I mean, at the time I knew it. He was leveraging everybody. They were all out in New York City. He was 90 minutes away or in a house, making it happen.
It's the biggest hack. I mean, when you leverage is the biggest hack in business, and you can apply it in so many areas. And that is the only way that you're going to get massive and buy your time back. If you're not leveraging, you're not going to be buying your time back. And most of y'all listening are visionaries, and you've got to buy your time back so you can have that time to sit back and really dream and envision, and then cast that vision to someone else so that they can implement it. Everybody's got a position in it. And the longer I play the game of business, the more I realize I need to enjoy my position. I need to sit in my position, and I need to let others that are stronger in other areas hold that position. You really get secure. So I'm going to say my number 2, I put down referral and affiliate partners.
Okay.
I joined a B&I group. I was actually going door to door to businesses. We had just started rug cleaning, and so I was starting to hit up my floor sales companies. And I was like, they're going to help me on carpet cleaning because they're selling carpet. They're selling rugs. They're going to help us on rug cleaning. So I was going in there and asking if they had anybody that they referred, because I knew they were getting phone calls from my customers saying, hey, I dropped some coffee, bought this carpet from you. Do you know what I need to do, who I need to call? So when I walked in, one of the sales reps said, would you like to get up in front of another 30 professionals? I said, absolutely. So he said, well, let me invite you to this group. And I had the opportunity to see what was going on. So I immediately joined. It's several $100 for me to join for the year. But that group had roughly, let's just say 30 individuals that knew exactly what my target customer was and what I was looking for. And we met weekly. So there was consistency involved in it. And then they're the ones that moved me from commercial to residential for the floor cleaning. My commercial rates for floor cleaning were cheaper than my residential rates. So it helped me in that manner in able to have a higher ticket price for my floor cleanings. But then as I moved into the mitigation, the disaster cleanup side of my business, we started targeting the people that were talking to our customers at the moment they needed us, since it was an emergency service. So water on the floor, plumbers. Water on the floor in commercial buildings, it'd be fire suppression companies with the sprinkler systems, even HVAC companies. So we started communicating with them, asking them, who were you referring? And then we would give them a kickback, which would allow them to really not so much be a referral partner, but more defined as an affiliate partner, because they were getting a kickback from passing us that lead. So that I saw scale my business tremendously, because now I had a warrior team of salespeople out there constantly marketing me, compared to my one individual effort going door to door saying, hey, I'm Chris with Absolute. Do you mind if I walk through your facility and give you a competitive quote for your floor cleaning? Now I've got 30 individuals on a daily basis talking to their friend, family, peers, coworkers. Instant trust. It's no longer a cold lead. It's a warm lead. It transformed my business, and I highly recommend every business capitalize on an affiliate referral portion of their marketing efforts.
That's great. Do you ever, when I get referrals, I assume the sale. Like,
Oh,
I assume
100%. Yeah.
you assume they feel it, you feel it, they already know when you call it.
They're not price
I love
shopping
it.
you.
They're not price shopping.
If they ask for a price, it's not, am I getting the cheapest? It's, can I afford it? So there might be a misperception of, I have no clue what this is going to cost me. But for a cleaning service, typically that's not going to be the situation. I would imagine that would be more like, and maybe in car sales or something, you know, how much is this car? You're not getting price shopped when you get a referral like
Nope.
that.
That's why everybody has to. You're essentially creating soldiers for yourself. They're the best thing. Think about if you get when I got on with Mike Fallett, I got on a call, like a three-way with him and Mark, and I got on a Zoom, and I think within minutes I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. And he was like, I don't even tell you anything about it yet. Like I was already gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
He could have told
Everybody
me,
is.
oh, it's 20 grand
Yeah,
instead of 10.
right.
I was already in. That's what you need. People need that. That's the best thing ever. I mean, I love that. That's why that's the other thing about, here's a way to motivate you when you're calling the people. When I was saying, you're like, I don't feel like calling it. You're going to create all these new referrals.
Mm-hmm.
It's a snowball effect. Like I like to go in and infiltrate like one property management company, get one person, do a great job, and then I already know what's going to happen. They're just going to start telling everybody in their thing. And of course, I tell them about that. Hey, is there anyone else I can help? I might even say, hey, I know Chris and Maggie also in your company manage other properties. You think I could help them? Can you introduce me? Ask for it.
Absolutely.
It's powerful.
You're also, we'll go back to the leveraging comment. You're also leveraging other people's name. I remember when I was first hitting the streets to market my floor cleaning, as soon as I signed up the first restaurant, didn't even clean it yet. They just said yes, and I got them on the schedule. My next store that I knocked on, I said, we also clean so-and-so down the road, because we were set up on the schedule. That gave me instant credibility. I mean, that's when you're marketing to people, they just want to know, are you going to do what you say you're going to do? And are you going to do it at a high quality? Can I trust you? Mm-hmm. It's rarely price. Almost always it's not price. It's, what are you going to deliver? And is it going to be high quality? And are you going to save me time, or is this going to be a headache? If you can get past that objection, then you're in the door. The price really doesn't even matter. That's why it's so great to have a referral mentioning you from someone that they trust, or you can name drop in the process and be able to get past some of that fear that they can't trust you.
We could get sidetracked on, but let me just ask you, did you ever sell on price? Like everybody kind of does it early.
When I first was going in, I was hungry. So I would, if I could find the price, but I guess I did, because I sat there and I said, would you like a competitive quote? But that got me in the door. Then as I started communicating with them, I started talking about my process, how we went through it, trying to build value. So I just needed the door to open for communication. So that was the price entry. But once we were there, we were talking value. And then the price followed. And I was very competitively priced. But as soon as I had a schedule full, my pricing totally changed. And here's something to mention on this. So we've been servicing most of our customers for a couple of years now. They know exactly what to expect from us. They get the quality phone calls up front. They get the appointment calls before we show up the day before to confirm. They get the good quality. If we ever made a mistake, we show back up. We moved, and most of my commercial pricing doubled, and a few of them tripled. It was that long before I increased my commercial pricing for my floor cleaning. And I had 2 or 3 leave, and every one of them's come back at this point. The rest of them said, well, y'all do a good job. Let me see if I can make it work on my budget. The few that left came right back within probably 3-4 months. It's not price. They really do care about value. In the beginning, to start the conversation, price might be mentioned, but ultimately, are you saving me time? Are you going to be a hassle? Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? Is it going to be quality?
Yeah. When people, I mean, I learned that the hard way. I used to do, when you're young, you do it. But when people want to beat me up on price and everything, I love it, because I'm not doing it. I actually don't even want them at that point, because I know it's going to be a thing. Or, I do complexes. There might be 30 something buildings. They're like, well, take these 2 buildings off. I don't think they need it. They always want to do everything. I say, I already know they don't need it. It's already built in the price. We're still going to go check it, but I know there's nothing. I know there's nothing in there. And they don't know what to say to that. But when they start trying to they think they're saving money or do this. I don't even want to deal with you.
It's wrong customer. It's not your customer. Yeah.
It's not when you're starting it.
What's your number 3?
All right. This one's kind of different. I do it. I mean, this has really helped me scale. And every time I worked kind of with blue collar guys that, I've been helping guys for I think, long time. And I would tell them this and they would always like, I don't know. And then I'd say, this is really important. So this is what I say. Reverse engineer your best 10 clients. I want you to reverse engineer them. And it's not just price. It's the kind of customer, if you could have a business full of these customers, you'd make a ton of money, you'd be happy, and then your life would be easier. So I want you to write those 10 down. Of course, they're going to be bigger customers that you make big spreads on, but you're going to see these characteristics about these things. And then I'd say, all right, let's get those down. They'd do it. They'd come back in the day. I know which ones they are. I say, all right, let's reverse engineer exactly how you got them. I want you to break down. Did you get them on a Facebook ad? Did you get them from an email? Did you get them from referral? Did you get them from walking in? And a lot of times you'll find that you got them from the same 2 methods. It's not scattered. Like when people I say, how do you get customers? And they name 8 things. And I'm like, do all 8 of them work? Or because the last 3, they just feel like they're just throwing shit against the wall.
Right.
What are the things that work? So it's kind of that too. What you'll find is I get all the good customers, or probably all the customers you want, from 2 or 3 different things. So once you know that, I don't tell them abandon all the other stuff. I say, we're going to pour gasoline on these 2 or 3 things. This works. This works. But you got to 10X this thing and stay focused on that for 90 days. So that's kind of what I was doing when I would the certain type of customers. For me, it was regional managers who have managers under them who have 10 properties, but I want to get to this thing. So that when I was doing those 90-minute calls, I was trying to talk to them. All you got to do is talk to one of those guys a week, get him on the phone. He's interested, and it can be massive. Rather than these one-off ones. But that might make you feel good because you're getting give us a price, give us a price. I want the one that's going to hand me 42 of them. Yeah. And I know I'm probably the only guy going to get him on the phone and going to make the effort. So find out how you got those customers, really reverse engineer it. And then once you figure it out, you write it out, you'll see it. You'll wow, okay, that works. And then go all in on that. And when you do that, you can get you can build your business so fast with that method.
Well, what you're talking about is just getting clarity. I mean, when you start getting clarity on who your customer is, who your team members are, what that avatar looks like, what their background is, what their desires are, and their dreams. I mean, you when you start clarifying those type of portions of your business, now you can start going massive action on them, and it really does allow you to scale in a tremendous way. I had a coach tell me one time, listen to the phone calls from your customers and listen to how they approach the call. So when they call you, what are they saying? Because they're giving you their problem. Are they saying, are they asking for a price? They say, how much do you charge for carpet? Are they saying, hey, can you get coffee out of carpet? Are they saying, hey, I've got kids that have dirtied my carpet? You can start to define who your customer is and which customer pays you the best and also has the easiest service when you do show up. Because when I first started, I had such low rates in the beginning on my residential side. Dude, I was getting trashed carpet. Hadn't had it cleaned in 3-4 years. Yep. I'm there double the amount of time. I use double the amount of effort and chemicals and everything. Then when I started raising my prices and I started using referral partners through networking, my clientele, my customers went up, and it'd be the difference between me going to $150,000 house and a $350,000 house. they maintain their houses better because they have more disposable money. I'm there less time. I get paid more, and I would get tips. I had more appreciation from them. They were less picky. They didn't scrutinize everything. It just changes all of that. But if you don't do what you just said, look at your top best customers, top 10 customers, analyze what they got going on, you'll never identify that. And you'll sit there and keep playing with the crap that you hate.
I'm going to give you one that you just said, and anybody who listens to this is going to figure out. And people with more disposable income are going to be easier. You're going to make more money on them. You're going to spend less time there. Sometimes there's a perception. I think people want to talk to them. Oh, they're rich people or this or whatever. Like 350,000, not rich, but even if you go into $1 million homes, they're not.
Yeah.
Like if I was a blue collar guy and I was doing a home, I'd like to do mine. I don't give it. And I'm going to leave you alone. I got guys doing the basement. I'll give them a monster and a water. I'd just leave them alone.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to do it. Like I have too many things to do. But if you were, it doesn't work. And I had the same thing with it. It works like that in commercial. If you go and you do gutters or anything on the D-class property, first of all, they're not going to call you back for 3 years. They do the same thing they wait till it's like overflowing and everything. You're going to have more issues with residents.
Yep.
They're going to ask you, why are you here? They're more likely to be home.
Yep.
You go in and we do like almost all A-class type properties. These people don't give a shit about the gutters. They're not even there. They're gone. 7:30 in the morning. They're at work. We don't even do. I have VAs look at the properties if we see bad reviews and all this stuff. We already know what's going to happen. It's going to be a mess when we get there. I'm not picking on the residents. It's the property. They don't want to. Their roof's a mess. Everything's a problem. So I just skip those ones.
Look for the red flags. Let the coupon businesses take those and deal with that. You set yourself apart by going after the higher clientele, having the higher prices, which gives you more profit margins, so you can provide better, nicer equipment, better looking uniforms and branding. And I mean, it's a snowball effect either way you go. So make sure that your snowball is getting bigger and not skinnier by messing with the wrong ones.
And the great thing with we'll say higher end customers, and even commercial or residential, they are going to leave you alone, and it allows you more money and profit to be really proactive with them, where you can send them the pictures, send them the text. Like you can do everything perfect for them and they'll love it. Yep. They won't even like anything I think of what they're going to ask. I already give it to them. When you're on the low end, there's just not enough money. You're always reacting. I want to be proactive.
All right. So number 3 for me is going to be social media video of my work in progress. Best way for me to say this is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I heard Grant Cardone talk about how you need to be telling everybody what you want and what you have to offer. And so that's exactly what I did. And he was talking about leveraging social media, and I just doubled down on it. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to make a post at least 2 times a week. And I would sit there and video what we were doing. So now people were getting comfortable about what this service looked like, what I looked like, what I sounded like, what my equipment looked like. And now they had familiarity with what was going on before they even called to ask for my service to be booked for them. Social media has been probably the reason I didn't list it number 1 is because I had to have capital to be able to provide certain things for the company. And my army of marketing that was out there from a referral partner and affiliate, that level of trust that they already had brought such a warm lead. That's why it was number 2. But number 3 is social media, because it has given me the loudest voice across multiple markets, built me up as an authority and a thought leader for a business. It's even done it with my real estate, because I've sat there and told my story and my process on real estate. People see me posting rentals up for sale, posting flip houses or rentals for rent, flips for sale, and they realize I'm in the game practicing it. And there's an automatic level of trust when you see someone practicing the craft that they're about to ask you information on. So social media is one of the biggest
Huge
loudspeakers that you could use to get in front of multitudes of people at once. It goes back to that you can do a one-on-one session, you can do a one to a small group, or you can do a one to many. And a one to many is your social media platform. So make sure that you're showing people if you need a business page on Facebook, you need your personal page, and you can share your business on your personal to cross pollinate the two networks, because you will have a different crowd following your business compared to who follow you personally. And just constantly throw out what you're doing. Show how you're talking to your team, how you're doing your trainings, what your vehicles look like, what those processes before, afters, during, all of that is going to be huge. And that has really gave me a lot of acknowledgement in my local market for my disaster cleanup and cleaning business.
That was a lot. I mean, social media is huge. Everybody should be using it. It's definitely good for business. It's good for even if you were going to raise money or anything. All these things can apply to that. So it's not just business. That is a business, raising money if you're trying to get deals done. But think of this, Chris. All these people we've met in the DM Alliance or anything, and you see, but first you saw them on social media and videos.
Yep.
Like take an example like Brandon Lutz or somebody.
Yep.
He's exactly who you.
Yeah.
It's like not even a little bit. Whereas maybe some of these, the only thing on social media is maybe some of these chicks like with the perfect angle, they might not really look like that, but you can't fake this.
No.
So one way I'm using social media and has been working is I have a handful of my subs are in Blue Collar Millionaire, right? They became Facebook, or I said, hey, you should check this out because I think it'll help them out. But we also do it where somebody is trying to be a sub for us, but maybe they don't have all the right insurance and everything. We call them an ally. Like, we want this person as a friend. They're a good person, but they just didn't qualify. Now we send them into here. And the idea is like, they'll watch this and they'll get more comfortable. And then when they do get those things, they're more likely to do it. And it's happened. Like this year, we've gotten like 3 off that. And they are in there. And when I talk to them, like, yeah, man, I watch your videos and I like your stuff. It works because I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, yeah, this guy's going to pay me. He's actually doing this. Like,
right.
They already know what's going to happen. That's very different than talking to somebody on my team real quick and like, yeah, we got this, we're going to set you up and everything. They're seeing it and they're getting comfortable with it. And in one case, the guy, or 2 cases now, the guy was like, yeah, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to get the insurance and everything. I want to do this.
I love it.
Social media, powerful stuff.
I would say for all of this, so we had 3 different ones, so that y'all got a total of 6 things that will help scale a business. Every one of them is execute consistently on. You got to execute consistently on it, because you can't expect to do it 1, 2, 3, 5 times and then have this massive scale in your business. But if you will set something in your calendar to where you do it weekly, you do it daily, you do it monthly, something, and you start doing it in repetition, you're going to see massive results. Put it in there frequent enough so that you can say, if I dedicate, and you don't even have to do all 6, just pick one of these things and say, I'm going to execute on this every day this month, and let's see what kind of movement I got after 30 days. Because after 30 days, if you do it every day, you're going to see something change dramatically.
For sure. Here's an analogy for the gym and why it's even better than the gym. So we all know if you want to get in shape, you got to go to the gym all the time. At first, you see it after 30 days, but no one else sees it. Then your wife sees it. Then somebody else sees it. Once somebody else sees it, everybody sees it.
Yep.
But here's the thing with the gym. You could go to the gym every day and then come home and eat like shit. You could drink a bunch of beers. You could eat a bunch of ice cream, and that's a lot of people. But with this, there's really nothing you can do to undo it.
Right.
If you just do these 6 things, what are you going to do at 10 o'clock that's going to undo that? What are you going to do? Start emailing those people and saying, F you, don't do business?
Right.
Like, that would be the equivalent of eating an ice cream or drinking 7 beers. You can't undo this. It's like going to the gym and then you ate clean. Like, it's impossible to not get in better shape. This is impossible if you do these things on a regular basis for your business not to grow. You'll have
I
new
love that, man.
problems. Yeah, I like
I've
that
never
too,
thought of
because
it.
you can't undo it.
That's because I had, matter of fact, just it was a couple. I've not been as consistent in the gym this year for some reason, just lack of discipline, I guess, or focus. And I was telling them, I was like, it's amazing how you can sit there and it takes you a year to like really get where you want to be. And then in a matter of 30 days, if you stop, you lose that year's worth of effort. But in business, it's not that way.
No.
Like it takes quite a while for it to cycle out from your efforts when you've stuck your efforts in and you got momentum going. That's such a great statement.
So much, and it's so much better. It's so much, and then the referrals, you create this snowball effect by getting new. That's almost like sending someone else to the gym to burn calories for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you want to go over there and run a mile for me and I'll get credit for it? Go ahead. Sounds
absolutely
good to me.
Man. Absolutely.
So I love that analogy. That's why I do it. I did it with money in my head when I was young. Like, if you go out and make $300, let's just say you paid taxes and all thing and you cleared $200. I don't understand people who go and blow all that on the weekend and everything. That's insanity to me. It's the same thing as you run 5 miles a day and then you try to destroy it on the weekends. Right. People do this, but with this, you can't destroy it. Like, all you have to do is do it. There's no undoing it. Yeah. So, I mean, if I was any business, if they did these 6 things, they consistently do it. And here's the other thing. We were talking about kind of setting aside time to do these things. If you do it, so you go to the BNI, I know, I see it. You go to these networking meetings every Wednesday. Okay. We are constantly doing these things for marketing. If you do these things, you say, hey, this is non-negotiable. Again, like you say, hey, I go to the gym every morning. You say, I'm doing this every day from 3 to 4. It's non-negotiable. I don't answer the phone. Everybody if you have a team, everybody knows it. Even if you're by yourself, when I used to cut lawns by myself, I would get up earlier because I'm like, I have to be done at 3 o'clock. I need to be done at 3 because I got to go get more. Right. But somebody else might say, well, I'll just start at 10 and I'll finish at 5. Well, then what are you going to do? You got to get these. I had like a whole plan. I got to get these lawns done. I got to go solicit more business. And then I got to go play basketball. That like, you couldn't tell me anything in the morning. I wasn't going to be 10 minutes late to that. Cause it was like, if you do that, it's impossible not to grow your business. You'll have new problems. Oh, I got to hire new employees, but we're going to talk about all those things. Chris, let's tell them about the podcast real quick.
Yeah.
And it's going to be kind of like this, where tactical stuff and everything's going to be like another layer. So tell them what we're doing.
Yeah. So we're going to have a podcast that'll launch weekly. We got Podcast Factory that's dressing it up for us, doing the edits and transcripts and whatnot. So me and Kevin are going to sit in this format right here, conversate back and forth. Our first topic is going to be why you should worry about scaling your blue collar business. So we'll go over the reasons why, the benefits, and how to do it. Every episode, like Kevin just said, is going to be a tactical, something you walk away with that you can apply in action. New episode every week. We'll be recording the first few episodes this week. So hopefully in about 2 weeks, it'll launch. We'll make sure we stick it on this Facebook group page so that you guys can get the link each week. Super excited about it, man. It's going to be an opportunity to just share. I know I'll grow from it just by listening to your stories, Kevin. I mean, it's just
I get
the way
so
it
much
happens.
from you, and I the same way. I get so much stuff from you. I loved your 3 things today, but they're going to be like short 20-minute podcasts. Yep. It's going to be, I hope, like a perfect thing that people can listen to from one job to the other. If you're a blue collar guy, if you're not, you're just entrepreneurial. Maybe you listen to it for 20 minutes on the way home from work. This is yet another thing we were talking about. You don't need to listen to podcasts for 4 hours. Just get your 45 minutes in every day.
Absolutely.
It stacks up. And we're really going to be talking tactical. A lot of the stuff I do when I try to bring it to Blue Collar Millionaire, I try to almost talk to myself 25 years ago. I say, like, what would if I could go back in a time capsule, I'd be like, oh, I would love that. I would say I would. I'm Chris. I spend way too much time thinking about that. I don't know why. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm going in. I want to help myself, like make my life easier.
Yeah.
I had a good life and everything was good, but I want to like, oh my God, there's like 7 or 8 things. Just do these, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, do us a favor, everybody that's watching this, in the comments, tell us what your current income source is. Are you a W-2 employee? Do you have your own business? If you do have your own business, tell us what business that is, what industry. And that way we kind of know. I would like to crowdsource the audience and see what is our audience. Do we have more business owners? Do we have more aspiring entrepreneurs? Do we have more, current W-2 or startup businesses? It would be nice to know, because then we can really focus on the content that'll help move you to that next level and give you some tactical advice so that you can start finding yourself scaling very fast if you implement it. But shoot, we're at 45 minutes, Kevin.
Okay. I know you got a call and stuff, and we're gonna start our podcast today. So I'll see you at 4 o'clock or so.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, everybody. Let us know in the comments, and I'll probably make a post about that. I really want to know that.
Cool.
All right. Talk to you later.